Hi. So today I was going to talk to you about um, a client. Last night, when I was talking to a client, we're towards the end of the session, and started thinking about how um, the saboteurs that we originally discovered for her, probably about 6 months ago now, maybe even a little bit longer than that. But how they are showing up again in a different situation, but with a similar, I guess, story. Story might be the right word for it. It kind of ties in with my Wild Woven Way stories anyway. I thought that I would share with my client how that also still shows up for me, because just because we have identified and acknowledged that these what I call protectors, but other people call them saboteurs. I call them protectors because they're really just trying to protect us in the best way they know how. These are things that we learned often in childhood as a response to trying to get our safety needs met, our independence needs met, or our freedom needs met and belonging. And so, they served a purpose at that point in time, but they don't recognize that we have more resources now, and so they still show up, and when they show up, they create kind of thought distortions and anxiety and different forms. But I have talked about in other places, and I'll drop it in the caption or the comments below, where you can go to take the test to discover what your own saboteurs are, or your own protectors are, because there's known to be, I believe, 10 to 12 different. There could be more than that, but the most common are these 10 to 12 saboteurs, and we all have them in some form. We all have more than one of them that shows up regularly, kind of what I call a platoon of protectors. And what I discovered when I was doing my own work on these is that they have a tendency, the smarter you are, the smarter they're going to be, because they have to outsmart you in the way that they go about things. And so they sort of tag team off each other, and it can lead you just feeling completely stuck or overwhelmed or uncertain, or any number of things, anxious. So I thought I'd talk again a little bit about my platoon and give you an idea of how they continue to show up. So, and again, I'll drop the way where you can uncover your own. I'll drop it down in the caption or the comments. So for me, right now, as you know, I just finished creating, kind of birthing, I guess, this new framework that helps me look at my business differently. It didn't really change any of the practices and things that I was doing inside it, but it changed the way that I looked at transformation itself, and saw that it's a seasonal thing. And in each season of transformation, there are different medicines that are for us to help us get through that transformation. And there's also societal traps and tips, or traps that try to keep us stuck there, because society doesn't want us to be independent or free. It wants us to conform, and that's just society, right? So I talk about that in other places, so I won't go more into that right now. But what I'm sharing that with you for right now is that I was on a super high while I was creating this thing, right? Because it was just like riding the creative high, and it felt so exciting and so new, and I was sure it was going to be transformational in the way that other potential clients saw me, and other practitioners, and all of those things. And so it was like super exciting, and there was so much work to do, and I was just go. And I'll also drop in here that my human design, which I don't know. I'm not a human design expert, but I'm learning about it. And my human design is a manifester. And so that is very manifester-like, exactly what I was doing there. But now it is primarily created. I have launched it. And so now it comes to the routine work, the marketing work, the less glamorous and exciting and less creative work of actually having that be known. And so my protectors, the 5 main protectors that I have, we all have the judge. We all judge ourselves or other people or the universe. And so that's one that we all have. But my other ones are the pleaser, the avoider, the controller, and the victim. Yeah, that's the one I like to forget. Anyway, and so the way that they work together to kind of keep me spiraled and stuck, because I've had some weeks or some days in the weeks in the last little bit where I'm just like, what's the point of it all? I might as well just quit and go find a job, which is also very, I'm not the only entrepreneur that feels that way, right? And I know that, logically, I know all this stuff, but these Platoon of Protectors, they get up in there, and their goal is to try to keep me safe, right? That is their goal, is to try to keep me safe, and so that I don't have to feel all these feelings of not enough, not good enough, too much, nobody will understand it because it's too complicated, all the story that I that fit. So the victim tells me that I am so different that nobody's going to understand what I have to say. And so it's just, no matter what I do, it won't work, right? So my victim is telling me that. My avoider wants it to always be fun and wants to avoid the hard work and wants to avoid any unpleasantness at all, which, life, right? So the avoider is pretty loud a lot of the time. And then there is the pleaser, and the pleaser, right now, it has 2 forms. One is it just tries to make everybody else happy and not me. But then the other form is that when I put something out there and I don't get instant success, the pleaser tells me that it just gets discouraged and angry and frustrated and just feels like it should be instant success. And then the controller is busy just trying to control everyone and everything, and it's probably the one that's in charge of this whole mess by pointing to each one of these and say tag team and go. So the result of all of that means that I am in a incoherent state, right? If you've heard me talk about heart math and coherence and incoherence, I'm in an incoherent state. And when I'm in an incoherent state, I don't have access to my prefrontal cortex. I don't have access to my intuition. I don't have access to my creativity. And so I get just stuck and bogged down in this thing. But so here's the thing. So that's what happens. We all have them. They all work together in different ways. That's the way mine work. And so the reason I was sharing this with my client is because now that I am aware that this is what's going on, I can say, hey guys, I see you. Thanks. I know what you're trying to do. And I also know that just because you launch this beautiful thing, it doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to suddenly be instantly successful, right? That's just not the way that life works. And so I just need to continue to talk about my thing and to learn better ways of sharing it and to continue to put it out there and to continue to talk about it, right? And not get so caught up in instant results that I get discouraged and stop and quit. So that was helpful for my client when I share that, because she's seeing her own patterns showing up in a completely different area than they were when we first recognized what they were, I don't know if diagnosed is the right word, but anyway, we discovered them. We found out which ones were most likely for her. And it's a completely different situation that she's in right now, but it's a similar pattern where the message that she's getting is to try to not listen to her own needs, and so to try to make the other situation more important than her own needs, right? So being aware of it, you can say, oh, hey, I see you. I see what you're trying to do. And my needs are more important in this situation. You see what I'm saying here? So anyway, if you want to discover what your platoon of protectors are, I'm going to drop it down in the comments or the caption or wherever you see this. And it's just a form that you, like a quiz thing that you can fill out, and then I will follow up with you and give you your results. So that's how it works. I hope that you take advantage of it. It's really helpful. It doesn't wipe it all away. Anybody who tells you that you're going to learn something about yourself and then instantly change is lying to you. But this is a tool that can be super helpful because it's likely to show up in your life in a lot of different ways as well. All right, take care. Much love. Bye.